China's national college entrance exam is known as the Gaokao. They kicked off on Wednesday for 2 days. Close to 13 million students are taking part this year, a big jump from last year. The tests very important for students as they spend months preparing. Another big challenge comes after college graduations, where students are seeking work. College universities are opening new majors to meet the market demand. Liu Siru has more.
China has been increasing efforts to become a resource-saving society. Industries are required to use recycled methods and to produce recyclable products. Graduates in the green energy field who understand energy conversion and energy use are therefore becoming popular in the job market.
China has been trying to realize the goals of carbon neutrality these past few years, so hydrogen energy and batteries are very popular, I think.
I have found a job in a pharmaceutical company. When I was looking for a job, I realized majors about new energy are very popular in the job market.
I think majors such as clean energy or energy recycling is in great demand in society, particularly the production of batteries.
A new major, resource chemistry, is now open at Beijing University of Chemical Technology. The university says the major will help to make use of natural resources more effectively and reuse energy through conversion and recycling. Students graduating here will be popular in a wide range of industries because of their interdisciplinary advantages.
Graduates from this major show not only the need for the high-level development of disciplines, but also the need for the major strategy of national sustainable development and ecological construction, and the need to achieve the goals of carbon peak and carbon neutrality.
This year, China opens 21 new majors nationwide. And besides science majors such as resources chemistry, majors are also open to train caregivers for autistic children, for example, and other vulnerable groups. And experts say colleges and universities have become more practical and more alert to market demand. And yet more needs to be done to better connect students with suitable jobs. Lu Sirui, CGTN, Beijing.
For more on the big tests, the Gaokao, we're going to bring in Denis Simon, clinical professor of the Global Business and Technology at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Good to see you. So this is a big test. A lot of people call it basically the career maker, right? Because if you do well on it, your career path goes in one direction. And if you, I guess, don't do well on it, your career path goes in a different direction. Are people making too big of a deal about one test?
No, the Gaokao is actually very important. It has historically been a vehicle for social leveling and economic leveling. In other words, young people coming from less well-off areas in China have an opportunity to make it into some of China's best universities. That said, however, it is also sometimes called examination hell. It's a very challenging time for students who spend up to 10 hours a day, preparing, and for parents who are pushing their kids, to be successful. So it really has created an atmosphere that's very stressful, and I think the government has been trying to address some of those issues as part of their concern for social well-being.
I mean, we see that in our country here and around the world, where there was always this traditional thought of doing good on these college entrance exams, in our case, the ACT and the SAT. But over the years, I feel like the attitude towards these tests have changed. And I also feel like the university's attitudes on how you get accepted has changed as well. They're now more focused on what you do in your extracurricular activities, your leadership ability, and general personality. There are other factors than just doing math and English or whatever the criteria might be. Universities seem to look at different parts of this now, right?
Right, so what you see in the United States is something we call crafting a class, that you put together a class based on a variety of factors. Gender might be one, socioeconomic background, ethnic background, as you indicated, extracurricular experiences, leadership potential, and not just a score on one particular test. In fact, we're starting to see in the United States a movement away from heavy reliance on these tests because some people consider them to be culturally biased or socioeconomically biased. But in China, there really is no other way, no other fair way to start to admit kids from all over the country if, in fact, you had these softer measures become the predominant vehicle for allowing students into programs. So despite the rigidity, there hasn't come up with a better system yet. And so that's why we still seem to be relying on the Gaokao as the main instrument.
Professor, ultimately, if you're the dean of a university, you want students that are going to represent your university well and do well in their careers or lifetimes. And I'm not sure if just because you're good at math or English, that's going to pave the way that you're going to be a future leader in this global community. There are many ways to address that, and I don't know, as you mentioned, these sort of softer skills, but I got to think that's really important when it comes to a leadership quality. Some of the best leaders I know aren't really good at math.
Right. Well, so it's not only math. I mean, the Gaokao has been reformed over the last several years to be more flexible in terms of the areas of specialization. So I think that there is an awareness that a broader-based educational experience is really what's needed to prepare leaders for the future, particularly in these more complex times when technology is changing so quickly. You can't learn technology today and assume over the next 30 years that technology is going to remain in place. So you need other factors, and I think China is striving to kind of figure out a new formula, but until it does, we still are stuck with the Gaokao.
Yeah, I don't think I would do well on the Gaokao, for the record. That said, a lot of students, who graduated this year, and I spoke to some of them, there's a real skepticism out there on their first job or their second jobs as they listen to their cohorts out there looking for work. And in China, there's also an issue of youth unemployment as well, but we see that everywhere in the world, that a lot of people graduate and they feel sort of disappointed almost when they get out into the real world and go, oh wait, I'm not going to make this kind of money, or these jobs aren't available to me. And I don't know how you pair the two together, but just because you graduate doesn't entitle you to being successful in life or your career either. It's kind of a touchy situation.
Sure. I mean, before, if you got admitted to a top, 5, 6 university, it was a key to success. But now, given the nature of the job market, you really do have to have skills in order to be successful. And one of the problems is that when you get beyond the first 10 or 15 universities in China, the level of professional preparation is lacking in many cases, and that's why these kids are struggling. So on the one hand, you have 11.5 million kids graduating, and people talk about a talent shortage in China, which is an irony given the numbers of kids that are going out and seeking jobs. And the reason is their lack of adequate skills to meet the needs of employers.
Yeah, and we did not even get a chance to talk about AI, but I think that also changes the mindset of these young kids as they move forward in their young careers. Professor, good to see you. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much.